Hey there, buckaroos.
It's me, Sam.
And today I want to talk about just loosening up a little bit. Just loosening up a little bit. Not in your life, and not the way I just did, and not the way I often do. I'm talking about in your arrangements. And that if you have just the essential elements of your arrangement, you're going to be like 75% of the way there. So I was working with this student, and he was having trouble juggling the different elements of the piece of music. And I'm going to play just a little chunk of the tune he was working on. And it's a good example of a song where we kind of got to break the mold a little bit and be a little bit more creative in our arranging. The way I think of it is when it comes to arranging, things are mostly set in stone. Okay, so the melody is completely set in stone. We do not want to alter that in any way. Okay, so the first step is to determine what the melody even is. Okay, what do we put on the top line? I'm gonna play just a little chunk of this song so you can get an idea. It's this kind of weird, I don't know, it's a Russian song or something, I believe, or I can't even pronounce. I don't even know. This is some Russian, dude. I don't know what the title of the song is. Okay, so I can't. I'm sorry to whoever wrote this. I'm sorry to all Russian people. So what we want to first do is determine what we want to even call the melody. Because in this particular part in the song, you might be confused as to what should I even feature in the upper ranges of the guitar. Basically, what notes do I want to have on the top? All right, so have a listen real quick. Okay, so what I hear, what grabs my attention, and this is totally dependent on you, but what grabs my attention is a banana, is that melody. Banana. Right? And then right after it, it's that guitar line that's going, right? So I hear, and at any given time, you just have to be really specific about. Then we go, right? Then all of a sudden the vocals come in and they kind of steal my attention as the most prominent thing. So what we're gonna do, and what we're pretty much always gonna do, is figure out the melody first. Okay, so get the melody down, because that never changes. All right, that's like the most important thing. All right, we're gonna have that in its entirety. So the way that I do this is I'm gonna first figure out what the rhythm of the melody is. Okay. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. That's what it sounds like to me. And unfortunately, with singers, it can be a little bit amorphous. Honestly. Now, keep in mind, right now we have a swung rhythm. So if we put in a bunch of eighth notes, it's gonna not go by like this. It's gonna go by like this. So essentially, the way that this is gridded out is that eighth notes are gonna feel like a triplet quarter and a triplet eighth pair. So bum ba. We're gonna tie this over. So da da, tie over, right? So not gonna get anything happening on this eighth note. We're gonna have something happening on this one. Da da da, and then this one's gonna be tied over. And then I think I just want a half note in here to fill the rest of the measure. Or actually, no, it wouldn't be a half note. It would be an eighth note tied to another quarter. So now I'm gonna actually put those pitches in, right? So I got my grid, and to be honest with you, I always do the entire piece first. Like when you see me do arrangements on my channel, I'm not doing it in chunks like this. I'm going through the entire piece of music first, and I'm putting all of the melody in. And you know what? There could be an argument to be made for this rhythm going ba da ba 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 Dun, but it's hard to tell. Okay, I'm gonna keep it simple. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, now where is that? So now I always use the guitar fretboard view. Now we gotta keep in mind this dude's using a capo, so things are gonna be a little bit off. The tie. The tie, I think so. Here. That feels good enough, okay? I'm gonna tie that over. Now, that might seem really simple, and you would need more. You don't, okay? That's it, man. That's the melody. And a lot of what makes, I think, a good arrangement is having that melody intact and not allowing other notes, even notes that you hear in the song, even notes that are higher up in pitch than the melody, they have to not encroach on the melody's range. In between melodic notes, let's say you have a melody note, then a melody note. On those melody notes, I can get as close as I want. This is not a good sounding note, but I can go, and it's fine, okay? You still perceive this as the melody on top. But as soon as I take a note like that and I put it here, the melody is going to end up sounding like this. It doesn't sound like the melody anymore. It sounds like this. It sounds like this. Right? So, in between melodic notes, we have to not have notes that are within the melody's range. And what constitutes within the melody's range? I don't know. Probably like a fourth or fifth away in either direction, up or down. What's the next step? Okay, now I'm going to put in really, really simple bass notes, okay? Let me listen to the piece again. Boom. Let's just do this. Boom, 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 boom. Really, really simple. It's fine. Now first, I'm going to put in the rhythm. Okay, so I've switched over to the bass line here, or voice 2. And I'm just going to put 4 quarter notes like that. Let's just grab this string right here. Oh, let's do it. All right, like that. Now what are we working with so far? Let's see here. Now, to me, that's most of the piece. I mean, that's, at least as far as this measure goes, that's most of the signature of the piece. That's most of the fingerprint of what makes this thing sound like this thing. The only thing I want to add maybe is something rhythmic, something that makes it feel a little bit more driving. So listen to the guitar in the background. We got bamba, 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 bamba. So what's important about this guitar is not what it's doing, it's when it's doing. Pretty cool, huh? It's when the notes are happening, all right? So I'm gonna just try to put in that particular rhythm. So just like this. It's 8 notes. Remember, we're swung here, so these 8 notes are gonna feel like ba 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 ba, which is perfect. All right. Now watch. I'm not even gonna use my guitar to really figure this out. I'm just gonna try to find what I call inconsequential notes within a possible geographic range that is accessible to me. God, that sounds so complicated. I sound like I'm trying to sound so smart. But really, what I mean by that is I'm going to allow the melody and the bass to dictate where my hand can be. And based on that range, I'm going to look for notes in the other strings that don't sound like shit. So let's try that out. Okay, let's try it out. I'm gonna look on the B string. Okay, how about the B string, right? Let's try it. Let's try. Okay, let's try this note. That sounds pretty zazzy. Listen to this piece again. In fact, let's take this thing and just put it on loop. Okay, now let's listen. Let's listen. Oh, no, loop, bro. Okay, watch. I know I'm gonna have to have a bar here. Technically, this guy's got a capo, but I'm not even gonna use the capo thing. I'm gonna actually, because usually you're not gonna have a capo. So let's say we're locked into this position, right? For example, I'm just dancing around on that B string. till I find something that really fits. I like that note. I like that note. So what do? Well, simple, man. Let's just slap that note down on every single one of our eighth notes. And let's do the exact same thing for every single one of these strings. Let's try. Sounds happy. I'm on the G string now. That sounds bad. This sounds too zazzy. Oh. That works. This sounds a little too cool. How about that note? How about that note? Okay, that's just, guess what? It's another 1. Okay. Okay, I'm going to proceed with the next string that I have, okay? So that would be the D string, okay? Let's listen. Sounds bad. Oh, that sounds good. Boom. Okay, so that's 3, right? That's 3. Cool. And then let's try it on the A string. Nope. Oh. Make sure I select the measure I want. That works. I was trying to tune my string and going the wrong direction. Rookie mistake. Still a little bit sharpening. Okay, so that works too. And look it. I wasn't thinking, hey, I want to be at a minor chord, an F minor. I just, I took the position I was in, and I found the notes that worked. All right? That's what I did. Now let's have a listen to just that measure and hear how it sounds. Okay. Here we go. Just that measure. Let's listen. Boom. Ba, ba, ba. Now, here's the beauty of this method, okay? Or here's what's also wrong with it, right? I'm not using any theory, right? So I do have to go in and test each string. I have to test the notes and decide what feels like they fit the chord at any given time. And I'm using my ear for that. The thing is, you can have a lot of robust theory knowledge. It can allow you to arrive at more common solutions quicker. But ultimately, dude, if you don't develop your ear as you're doing this, if you don't grow your ear over time, you're gonna be screwed, man. Because eventually, I mean, this is the most cookie cutter example of like, okay, this is a chord position that we all know, right? It's just like that minor bar shape. But like, what if, for example, I mean, I might run into another shape that's like not. Let's say, for example, we had to, for whatever reason, do this up here, right? And let's say these low notes, for example, needed to be 1 octave up, okay? And this was our position. It was 6 and 8 here. It doesn't have to be, but I can do the same process, right? I can go, and I can just take these 2 strings right here, the G string and the D string, and I know I have to be at 6 here, and I know I have to be at 8 here, right? And I can just look on, first I'll just look on the G string. So that works. Boom. All these notes are cool, but I'm looking for the one that fits the best. I'm looking for the one that feels like it's not spicing up the chord too much. It's like as if this is like this chord's vanilla, but if we put in this, it feels like I'm James Bond or something. There's a little mint chocolate chip in that note. But if I go here, it feels very basic. Okay, those are the kind of notes when you're filling stuff in that you want. And again, we're looking for notes that can serve basically as a rhythm, okay? That chord, that guitar that's going dun dun dun, that's the thing that's sort of driving the song along, okay? Cool. And then I'll do the same thing. Same thing with the with the D string here. Okay, let me try the notes in the vicinity, right? I'm just looking for notes around where my left hand is right now. That's cool. That sounds too happy. Now that right there, that actually sounds the most sort of normal, the most inconsequential, right? That note's cool. That note's wrong. That doesn't work. That note's very, very cool as well. But that's too much, right? So really, this right here would best represent what I'm hearing in the piece of music. And if I listen to just that, that measure now, let's listen to the audio. What do we got here? We got, yeah, right? That works. It's simple, but it works. Now I do hear, right at the end of this measure here, bum bum. So what can I do here? I actually have that note here, right? That 6. I could bring that down to a 5 here. Now let's have a listen to that. Listen to just the MIDI. Listen how that actually sounds. Right? And now we're cooking. And another thing I like to do is, if I need to thin something out, if something feels like it's unplayable, which notes do I get rid of? Well, in general, I like to keep more notes on bigger, more important beats, like the downbeat, like 1, okay? And then I'm okay with removing notes from chords that already have either bass notes or melodic notes on them, okay? So what are good candidates for that? Okay, well look at this. This note has a melodic note on it, right? So guess what? I can get rid of these 2 notes, and it's not gonna suffer a ton. In fact, I could get rid of these ones too, because there's already a bass note down here. Right? So I could go, for example, I could go. Because your brain, it really just perceives that things are happening on those beats. And that keeps that, right? It keeps that feel. I just deleted a lot of notes, but you still feel bum, 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 bum. But if I, for example, got rid of these 2 notes right here, right? Got rid of these 2. Well, now I'm running into trouble. I'm running into trouble because I've deleted notes where there isn't anything else happening. There's no melodic note there. There's no bass note there. There's no rhythmic events happening. If I say an event, I mean like any type of thing that's happening. A hit, a note, a bass note, a melody note, whatever. So now it sounds like this. It's still nice. It's still fine. But we're losing some of that drive, some of that forward momentum, right? Right? And real quick, I'm going to do the same process again on the next measure. All right, so do the exact same thing. Bum, bum, bum. So, right, the rhythm of the melody. Bum, bum, bum. So let's put that in. Where are those? That goes really high up, okay? I'm all the way at 11. All right, so I'm gonna stick to notes here that are higher up on the fretboard. Oops, that's wrong. Boom, there's our melody. Okay, and then what are we doing for the bass? Do. Do, 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 do. Let's just do that. Really simple, really simple. And we'll do quarter notes again just to keep that driving. Boo, 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 boo. Go here. Oops. And then for the middle stuff, we're going to keep that driving thing happening again, all those eighth notes, right? To match the guitar. And I'm not really concerned with the exact notes of the guitar. I just want to find stuff that works with the chord. All right, so I'm just going to loop this over and over again. This note works. All right, so that note works. That's easy. Okay, I can just put a few of those in. And then I think the bass might change in a second, so let's do the same thing, okay? I'm gonna grab just half of this measure, okay, because the bass note changes in a second, so I just wanna grab just the front half of this measure. That doesn't work. That kind of works. This note works too. These two work. Let's put in that one. That feels a little bit more normal to me. Okay? And then, what about for the second half of the measure? Let's do the same thing. We got this ringing. How about that? How about that? We just got this note. Let's see. Ooh. We got that. And then how about this one? Right? That doesn't seem to change the chord too much. And if we listen to just on the MIDI, here's what we got, okay? I'm gonna listen to both of these measures. Right? Perfect. It's simple. And of course, when you would actually go in to try to play this thing, you might realize, hey, I don't need these notes, okay? This is too difficult. So maybe we go, and maybe we even get rid of these ones. Yeah? And then what if we just have the melody note there be on its own, and then I can transition into this chord. So like this. Just that. That works fine. There you go. And you know, that was pretty quick and pretty methodical. And again, just to have a little recap of this, what you want to do is you want to get your melody laid out. Boom. You want to get the important bass notes, and then you might want to not really think about what other notes are happening, but when other notes are happening, and take care of the important rhythms with notes in between the melody and bass, right? In between, not encroaching on the melody's range. Keep it far from the melody, and just find notes that feel like they work with the chord. Now, if you really want to learn how to do this and you really want to dive in and start doing your own arrangements, boy, have I got a link for you. Okay, you can click down below. I've been teaching this stuff for a couple years. I got a bunch of students who are making sick arrangements, making their own YouTube channels and stuff. And I would be thrilled if you would like to work with me and start making your own arrangements. You can learn my whole process and stuff. And it's a really great, fun place to be. Okay, bud? That's it for now, dude. I guess I'll... Bye.